2 weeks ago or so, I was supposed to make a podcast episode about this, and I didn't because I was so sick. And still not feeling great, but getting better. So I'm here to do what I promised to do. I'm just gonna read some of the statements that I've made on Instagram about this because it's easier for me to explain it that way, just so we're up to speed and I can actually start talking about the rest. But yesterday, which was February 9th, February 8th, fucking somewhere over there. Yesterday, the Access Gallery posted a pic of me to announce that I'm a vice president of the board of directors, and someone decided to attack me for being a Russian Canadian. Emphasis on Russian, of course. I took a look at the person that wrote that and who started to call their friends over to like their comment, and I was horrified by what they stand for. I am very openly a leftist, as you guys would fucking know. As you know. And I will not stand for this type of people infiltrating the Vancouver art scene, smiling to people's faces while supporting racist parties like 1BC. I'm gonna have to explain to you guys this party that is a party in BC, in British Columbia, Canada. I know that a lot of my listeners, a lot of my followers are from mainly America, UK, Germany, Canada, Poland. The Canadian portion of the audience is only like 5%, I think. So I understand that a lot of people here are not going to be familiar with what that party stands for and who they are. So we're going to have to fucking talk about it. And it's going to be nasty because the party is nasty. I got some comments under the post that the gallery posted of me, being kind of like, with the ongoing war against Ukraine that is only escalating, the absence of any public stance from a Russian identifying board member raises serious concerns, especially when a gallery publicly engages in political discourse. Leadership silence also becomes a position. By the way, saying that to a gallery that just had a show on drones, including talking about Ukraine, it's really, really strange to like not do any fucking research whatsoever, but jump people over nothing. Regardless, I have realized that oftentimes when I'm having a discussion with somebody and I'm thinking that I'm talking to somebody progressive, at least in some fucking capacity, I am actually talking to somebody who has no politics whatsoever except for supporting whatever is beneficial to them. Okay? Oftentimes that includes nationalism of one nation or another. Usually it involves some other bullshit. And here, when I was made aware that there's comments under that post, because again, it's not my page, it's the gallery's page, so I did not see that there were comments already. When I was made aware of that and I was sent screenshots and shit, there were responses already. I think what I've seen was maybe only a couple of comments at first. And one of them was discussing the fact that it's kind of strange to just like write this out of nowhere to a very progressive gallery in general, but it's just kind of strange to just like write that, because what are we supposed to just kind of assume that whichever nationality you are, you support whichever thing that this person doesn't agree with? Like that commenter was discussing the fact that what if I'm Canadian, you're supposed to do just what, assume that I support residential schools or something like that, or that if you're Ukrainian, you support Azov battalion, you know? They were just like bringing up, I guess, their identity. And what tipped me off that this is again a situation where I'm talking to somebody who is clearly just like opportunistic and a career-driven person who really doesn't give a flying fuck about politics or about well-being of people in general, was the fact that they responded with, well, Azov battalion are kind of chill dudes, you know? You should look into their history and why they were even created. I could not believe my eyes when I saw that, because the audacity, the sheer audacity to question me on my politics while you support something like an Azov battalion. If you guys don't know what the fuck Azov battalion is, because that was me in like 2022, 2023, I did not know what the fuck that was. I've had to look it up when I kept on seeing this weird ass fucking emblems on shit. This is, as per Wikipedia, a self-funded volunteer militia to fight Russian-backed forces in the Donbass area. The unit has drawn controversy over its early and allegedly continuing association with far-right groups and neo-Nazi ideology. And this is crazy how cute they're being about it here, because there's no alleged affiliation. They're literally, that was their whole shtick. Like their whole shtick was Nazi shit. This is not well, now it is their military, but in the beginning they were a separate self-funded military group. So they were kind of like any separatist kind of movement that's really like Nazi forward in Canada, for example. Like, just so you have an idea of what that is, it's kind of like that. Dudes who believe in Aryan supremacy, other shit like that. So when that started to roll around, I started to really wince, because I was like, okay, that's not good. And the reason why, again, this has tipped me off so much is because I've had a similar situation before where I would be having this conversation about like politics, about the war or whatever with somebody. And what I realized with those people is that it's not just not knowing about this specifically. Some of them are maliciously supporting it because they genuinely believe in white supremacy, and that's a whole other fucking thing. But some of them are not getting that nationalism is a tool of the bourgeoisie that they use to not only justify, but to get consent from the masses to use us as cannon fodder in their wars. That was the first bell ringing where I was like, okay, what the fuck was that? What the hell was that? By the way, do not go into my comments telling me that this is normal, supporting this particular group or to be a white supremacist, okay? Or equating having like Ukrainian ethnicity to it, okay? A lot of Ukrainians died in World War II fighting against the Nazis. There were some that betrayed them, and my great-grandma would gladly, if she was still alive, she would gladly tell you about how much she fucking hates those fuckers who betrayed them. But regardless, that was the first bell where I was like, okay, I need to go and see what I'm dealing with, because I want to make it clear. I do not talk to, I do not appease, I do not have debates with anyone who's far right. Point blank, period. I do not want to bring them in or legitimize them in any type of shape or form by having this separated conversation about Ukraine when their politics is so fucking vile, okay? They don't exist within a vacuum. The fact that they are dealing with a war does not make them not harmful to somebody else when they're here, okay? Just so we're clear. Now, I went over to her page being like, what the hell is going on? And immediately I see that she's following someone I can't fucking stand, which is this Masha again. I don't know what the hell is going on with this name, but Masha again, Kleiner. So this Masha girl is a Zionist, follows this Masha Kleiner, who is a far-right activist and part of 1BC party. If you're confused about 1BC and what the fuck 1BC is and what they stand for, well, 1BC is this party. It's quite recent, and it is far right party that basically does like some obvious things for far right people to do, like for example, like they're like anti-trans legislations and other things like that. They want to cut income taxes for the rich. They want to privatize all the healthcare. They want us to be annexed by America, which is just fantastic. I love when people like Masha come to Canada and want us to be fucking annexed. I love that. So cute and fresh and not at all fucking crazy. Regardless, one of the things that you might not expect if you are not a Canadian, if you're a Canadian, you probably already guessed, but they also are residential school denialists. What are residential schools? Okay, let me actually read you a quote from 1BC political party Wikipedia page. On December 2nd, 2025, 1BC premiered the documentary film Making a Killing, Reconciliation, Genocide, and the Plunder of Canada, which was produced using public funds given to the party caucus. The documentary has been criticized for denying the genocide of Indigenous people in Canada. If you don't know, which, well, now you're going to, there was obviously like a lot of bloodshed going on, but most of all, what is like uniquely cruel about what happened in Canada was residential school systems, which if you went to like high school in Alberta, they would give you like one page on that shit in social studies textbooks and just kind of be like, yeah, there was like residential schools which just like they took the kids and they were just like wanted to like teach them how to read and the ways of God, and that's kind of where they leave it. In reality, this whole shit, it was a lot worse than you can imagine, and we're dealing with a lot of fallout of that right now because there's a lot of mass graves of children being found all over Canada all the time of just Indigenous kids. Of course, this is treated by these types of people like it's not a big deal. Apparently it was civilizing mission to isolate Indigenous children from the influence of their own culture and religion in order to assimilate them. If you are also thinking that this was like a long time ago, brother, the last one closed in 1997. Do you understand how recent that is? That's the people telling you that socialism was bad, by the way. Yeah. Anyway, a lot of unmarked graves, a lot of mass graves have been found, and they keep finding them. There's like a whole map I'm going to show you here, which is residential schools, including grave sites. This map can be expanded. You can go to Wikipedia, specifically Canadian Indian residential school systems, to see it up close if you want to, but basically this party is just like denying their existence entirely. Obviously that specific activist that Masha is following, the Masha activist, is also the fact that she's using the word activist. I swear to God, like, what is wrong with you, woman? She is Israeli, of course, moved to Canada and now basically tries to strip all Canadians, and especially those ones that are more vulnerable, of all their rights, which is so cute, fun, and fresh. Who doesn't love that? Who doesn't fucking love that? In the stories that I posted, I expanded on it. I was like, she follows this woman. If you're familiar with the white supremacy this party spews, I don't have to even explain much. If you're not familiar, these people are quite literally residential school denial supporters, which is so vile, I don't even know where to start. Sorry to say, but honestly, it's so recent. These people are alive. All the people who are dealing with the trauma of being in those residential schools, bitch, they're alive and they're denying it. Do you understand how evil that is? How fucking insane that is? To be like, no, that never happened. Okay. All right. That same woman also posts things from Turning Point USA, which is like just an amazing fucking organization. Fucking Turning Point USA, bitch. At this time when they're consistently threatening to annex us, what is his name? He's got a name. He must have a name. What is his name? Ben Shapiro on her page, right? But more on that Masha Weisberg that had a lot to say about me because of my ethnicity. She herself has her work published in 525 Myth. If you're confused why that's relevant, look no further than the founder of the organization. This guy, Sergei Melnichenko. This brother posts photos of the Aidar Battalion, which is also the same thing as Azov Battalion. Aidar Battalion, I did not know what that is until I saw him selling merch of it, because that's normal. Selling merch of a white nationalist group. What is going on? He's not just, as I've said in my stories, he's not just a regular Ukrainian guy. He's a rare breed. He publishes pictures of Aidar Battalion and even sells merch with their iconography. If you're confused as to why this battalion paraphernalia is so concerning, just Google it. Even on Wikipedia, they explain it pretty clearly. Even Amnesty International, a very tolerant of the right organization, quite tolerant of anything and everything that's been funded by any right-wing association or anything, and even they called it a far-right group guilty of war crimes. Underlying here, because I know those bitches are gonna try and say that all Ukrainians are fucking like supporting this shit and that all of them are like this, and you just don't support the rights of Ukrainians if you don't support white supremacy. Just as I've said in the story, I have plenty of Ukrainian friends and family, and none of them are white supremacists. Her, though, she is. And if she's just ignorant, if you're ignorant enough to be contributing to an IDAR battalion affiliated publication, that's fucking crazy. And I do want to say that this is something that you're going to, if you're a Westerner, you're going to see that a lot, because a lot of people who are from Eastern Europe, who get out of Eastern Europe, many of them, not all of them, especially not those that are like moved by the professional visa, which is like they just have like some kind of qualifications that you guys need here or whatever. Most of them who are not like that have some concerning connections. Just like every other country in the world, there are people who have completely sold their people out. Simply put, they have decided to do whatever other countries want to do to harm their own people for the sake of profit. So you're going to be meeting a lot of like, especially if you're like in LA or in New York and you meet a Russian or a Ukrainian, there's a very high chance they're going to be oligarch babies. They're not to be trusted. Those are some fuckers. Just stay away. I have said here, my politics is very consistent. I am a leftist, a real one, not a left of the right wing. As we all know, I'm pretty consistent with that here as well. I keep talking about it. So I will not tolerate this BS anywhere near the institution where I am responsible for creating space for Canadian artists to have their works seen. To be abundantly clear, and I'm going to have to read this again because I know, as I've said here, you're going to play dumb. Not you, but them. I'm against oligarchies, and that includes the one you're worshipping too, Masha. Asking me to answer for Russia but not Canada when both of us are in Canada right now tells me a lot. My impact is where I am physically in that moment. That's why I support Indigenous rights instead of trying to benefit from white supremacists that have been pillaging people of this land for years. The fact that as a foreigner that got refuge here, you support a party that wants to strip Canadians of their rights is so disrespectful. I don't even know what the fuck you're thinking. You want to talk politics? Well, learn politics of the place you're in first. I wrote this because I realized that I'm dealing with the fucking Zionists and white supremacists. And then I went to do a live, so I was away for like 4 hours and couldn't check my phone or anything like that. So when I came back, there was like a whole fucking thing that happened under that post that I didn't see most of it. All the comments were deleted because the gallery, there was a lot of like basically comments from some random man writing, like middle-aged men writing in Ukrainian a bunch of shit about me, being like, oh, she's like this Baba Yaga with like dirt coming out of her, like, or like shit coming out of her mouth or something like that. Basically, it was something crazy like that. Later on, she was having a conversation with the president of the board because the president was the one who like was seeing the messages and responding to it and whatever. That Masha girl honestly was pretty demanding and aggressive with her, to be honest. That's my assessment. I'm not speaking for the president. She kept on demanding for the leadership of the gallery to respond. By that point, she has pissed me off so much with just like the sheer audacity of this woman that I responded with straight up like, Masha, I am the fucking leadership. What do you not understand about the vice president part? Like maybe next year I won't be, or the year after that, or whatever the fuck. But currently, yeah, you are talking to the leadership. I am the leadership. What are you not computing? But on top of it all, this is an artist-run center. There's like 10 people on the board usually or so. It's a working board. The people on the board are working for the like helping the gallery function. And I'm not about to be speaking for everybody because unlike you, I don't do that type of shit, you know? I don't walk in and say that I can speak for everybody. I am speaking from a position of a vice president because I am one, but I'm not gonna be speaking for everybody. That's not how it fucking works. Of course, as a Zionist does, after pushing, she is acting all offended and scared that I'm pushing back. After attacking me for no reason, no evidence like to speak of, she is acting like a victim now. But yeah, the reason why I'm using her name is because she clearly has a system where she basically posts the post where she is talking to somebody or like questioning somebody or attacking somebody, whatever it is. She clearly posted somewhere so a bunch of people who have the same beliefs as her can come and like her comments, attack the person, send disparaging messages, in DMs or in the comments, other shit like that, you know. Her miscalculation here was that she jumped somebody who first has a lot more left-leaning politic than her, and two, somebody who actually has a following online. I don't know why she didn't fucking Google my name before she jumped on my throat, but that was definitely a fucking stupid thing to do, because in this case, even though I don't fraternize with white nationalists and I don't have like a channel or a chat to send posts there so someone supports me or whatever, I actually do have some eyes on the shit that I post, where people who do believe in things like equality, other shit like that, like they will actually come in to have a conversation with you as well. So because she is using this tactic of attacking somebody in numbers, I'm not going to be covering up her name or anything like that. I don't think anyone who follows me is going to be attacking her, like writing her messages or something like that. And I don't encourage it, by the way. However, if you see a white supremacist or a white nationalist or whatever the fuck in the comments, anywhere in the wild, feel free. It's open season. You can do whatever the fuck you want with them. I actually don't give a shit. I do support pushing back on white supremacists as hard as possible, actually. No force is too much force when it comes to Nazis, actually. So she goes on to write, I am a Ukrainian Jew. My family on both sides was oppressed, killed, followed, executed, forced to flee the country and hide their identity just to stay alive. Today, right now, my friends in Ukraine are being killed while defending our country from Russian invasion. And yet, I was publicly called a white supremacist and far-right Zionist by a person who identifies as an open lefty, first of all, not lefty, leftist, and seeks to foster empathy and understanding within communities. I think that she's taking that from my bio, I guess. While threatening me and my friends with exclusion from the Vancouver art scene using their leadership role at Access Gallery. I assume this is in reference to that comment that I left when I responded to her directly in the comments under my post, under the post of me, where I said that, Masha, I saw that you're a Zionist. I will not be entertaining this. I do not entertain or negotiate with white supremacists, and stay away, because I do not like when people are pretending they're smiling and acting like they're progressive in front of people who are of marginalized communities, while behind their back supporting things like 1BC, fucking residential school denialism and other things like that. Yes, if you're around me in a room with a bunch of people of color, since they are usually also Westerners, they don't know the tells of how to tell which Slavic person is a white supremacist and which one isn't. I'll help them out, okay, with identification. Or even better yet, I will talk to you directly, because it's kind of, I don't know, it's kind of like my responsibility or something to foster a safe environment for people to be in, especially considering that the gallery that I am working with or for right now has an exhibition of an Indigenous artist going on right now. What do you think I'm going to be nice to you when you're quite literally supporting shit like residential school denialism? You think I'm gonna be like, oh, poor little Masha? Is that what you think? Once again, we're gonna be talking today about nationalism and why it is a tool of the bourgeoisie and it's not for the working class to be entertaining at all. But an institution that publicly states commitments to anti-racism, care and respect for artists, and creating safer spaces free from harassment and discrimination. Yeah. Like the harassment and discrimination that you have showed me, while also behind the backs of those people that have welcomed you into their artist community here, Canadians who are decent people, Canadians who are of Indigenous ancestry. Yeah, protecting those people from those who support denialism of genocide against them. Yes, that would be my job, actually. That is exactly the institution that publicly states commitment to anti-racism, care and respect for artists, and creating safer spaces free from harassment and discrimination. That's exactly what I'm doing, actually, Masha. The fucking audacity. And yeah, and all of this again, as a response to my request to clarification about a position on Russian war against Ukraine. I was also shamed for speaking about Ukraine instead of Canada. I care about what happens here, but Ukraine is my country. The war is ongoing and my friends are being killed. While that is happening, I will continue to speak about Ukraine. That is my responsibility. Yeah, you can do all of that. That's not the problem. That was not the fucking problem that I had with you. Let me actually cover this real quick. When I posted on my story, a lot of people reached out to me, a lot of Canadians who have already encountered her have reached out to me, basically being like, yeah, you're actually reading her correctly, because one, she's made a lot of fuss about Pussy Riot exhibition, when there was a Pussy Riot exhibition in Vancouver at the Polygon Gallery, and she was basically protesting that, which is, again, just showing you how this isn't about politics, because those Pussy Riot are the girls who were incarcerated for criticizing Putin. She doesn't give a flying fuck. She just doesn't want the dirty Russians, the Russians who dirtied the blood of the Aryans, the superb Slavic blood being all dirtied up by the Asian blood, which is like, really, you think I'm joking. I thought that was an exaggeration, that people just came up with this bullshit, okay? That there's no way you can run into people like that. And then one of my friends from university, who we were really close, she's a Ukrainian girl, straight up, that's what she started to post. Again, I don't mind people being angry at Russia or about the war, because unlike you, I'm not going to be affiliated or be the one pushing and then cry like a little bitch about it and be like, why are you guys pushing back on me? It's not fair. Like, such a Zionist ass behavior, bitch. Like I'm not like that. I'm not gonna be offended that you have a problem with an invasion or a war, or that you are like, even don't want to be dealing with Russians, for example, yourself personally. That's your fucking problem. That's your right. Not something for me to be mad about, really. But just the amount of shit that she managed to do on a personal level to people here in 2 years, maximum of 4 years that she's been here, that must be some kind of fucking record. It must be. Outside of, some personal information that I don't think it's appropriate to share, there definitely is information like getting a degree in Moscow, for example, is not a problem, apparently, probably for free as well. Supporting the stripping away of our rights as Canadians here, while at the same fucking time benefiting from our tax money, which, again, I'm not even saying that it shouldn't be provided to refugees. This is not what I'm arguing. I'm just shocked at the audacity. Can you imagine getting like this country gives you all of this and you start supporting some far-right bullshit there when you come? We're already in so much debt to the indigenous. You want to deny the residential schools. I don't know if you guys know, but even just regular Canadians cannot imagine getting a year in university for free. That's something that was provided, apparently. I was shocked to know. My friend told me about this, that he got 1 year free of university here because he was a Ukrainian refugee. And I was like, oh, we can't even fucking argue with our government about education being our right. You should be on the side of the regular Canadians that are accepting you, But instead, clearly, honestly, what is your issue? I just don't understand. Saying, why didn't she just respond to my question? I don't talk to people like you, okay? At least not privately, because the audacity of being a white supremacist or being chill with it, being a Zionist, coming up to me and telling me to jump and expecting me to respond with how high is insane. By the way, you have gotten your degree in Moscow. I'm pretty sure you're quite familiar with all Slavic types. You really thought I was going to be cute about it? I need you to be so for real right now. You thought that I was going to see this type of shit. And as someone who supports human rights, you thought I was going to be cute about it and separate it. Like I was going to separate your identity and your experience as Ukrainian from the rest of your politics. That what you were expecting me to do, huh? Really? The audacity. I don't know any other group of people, except for Zionists, who would fucking be this audacious, just do whatever and expect that everyone's gonna take it. Then apparently, of course, she like waited until my story disappeared, and that's when she posted that shit about like, but I'm just like a Ukrainian Jewish person. Like, she waited until my story is gone, so when people see her posting about it and they go and check, they don't find why I'm pissed at her or why I'm not going to be fucking talking to her. Of course. So of course I had to post again, because I'm not going to be, this is not going to be cute, you know? You wanna keep pushing, you wanna be talking in a demanding tone to literally everybody who's volunteering their time for the gallery, not me, the rest of them. I'm not even talking about me, I'm talking about the rest of them, talking to them in this demanding tone as if people who are actually contributing to their local community, in terms of the art community, in terms of just Canadian community, in terms of just pulling as many people together to keep this artist-run center alive and well, so it can actually provide space for people who have more subversive takes or more truthful takes about the state of affairs, to have this space. You want them to ask how high when you tell them to jump, while you're this type of person. So I, of course, posted again. I was like, so that the same woman is now harassing the gallery. A gallery that just had a show on drones and made their thoughts on Ukraine very clear. She did not deny being Zionist, nor her support for a white supremacist battalion. Now that my previous stories are gone, she wants to reframe the narrative as if she's the one being attacked. So I'll make a podcast episode telling you why I oppose wars, which has nothing in common with the reasons Zionists and white supremacists pick and choose which wars are to be opposed. I think I've been talking openly about politics for like 5 years, but people who don't even know the left and right of a political spectrum, that lady apparently, want me to issue disjointed statements to satisfy them. By the way, to those of you who are confused, because I had someone, Russian actually, be like really upset at me for this and being like, what are you, like a vatnik? Which is like, also did not know what the fuck a vatnik is. I had to look it up. It does not sound like a word that makes any fucking sense. And it's like kind of like, wait, let me see. Is a political pejorative used in Russia and other post-Soviet states for steadfast jingoistic followers or propaganda from the Russian government, apparently. Again, I'm a bit behind on the lingo. I haven't been back home in a really long time, so I'm a bit rusty. But regardless, that person called me that. I had to like genuinely respond pretty harshly to that, because you tell me you've been watching me. You tell me that you've been watching my content or whatever. Have you seen anything except for fucking brain dead fashion shit? If you're genuinely talking to me this way, have you paid attention at all? If that's what you're coming here with. They were like talking to me about this, I guess confused as to why I wouldn't just say that I oppose the war or whatever. The thing is, I have addressed it before already, but I guess that maybe because it was like stories and it was spread out over the years, like people haven't seen it. Maybe they have been watching me for only a year or something like that. I don't know what the problem is, but regardless of that, the reason why I'm not saying that is because, one, I mostly talk about things that I can actually get flack for here, by which I mean there is no point in criticizing Russia from all the way here. You think it's brave or something? Genuinely. You sitting here from your fucking ivory tower talking shit about Russia as if you're under its jurisdiction and can actually get in trouble for it. You're so brave. You're so brave. Should I get a fucking, like, I don't know, an exhibition and like a position somewhere in high up for being such a brave little girl that keeps talking shit about a country that she's not under jurisdiction of? Because the thing is, if I would have been living here and I saw that people are not sending fucking literal tanks to someone's home who's supporting anti-fascist movements, and that happened in Vancouver like last year, right? A woman who supports Palestine got raided with fucking tanks. If I didn't see that happen, maybe I'd be more focused on Russia, sure. But since I'm here and acting like such an activist about a country that I'm not currently in is a cowardly thing to do. I'm not doing that shit. Okay? That is a cowardly thing to do. Wanna be yapping this much? Go back home and deal with it. Deal with the fallout. Deal with what people are actually dealing with. That's why when I'm here, I am going to be speaking on the things that Canadian government is not going to be maybe that happy about, because I'm talking about issues that affect Canadians here, or things that I am contributing to monetarily. For example, being at UBC, having a degree from UBC, and then finding out that those motherfuckers are funding or sending weapons to a country that shall not be named. Yes, I'm going to criticize that, because my money that I paid to go to university and the money that I pay every single year in taxes is going to this shit. Do you understand that or not? Physically nor fiscally am I responsible for what's going on the other side of the world in the conflict between Russia and Ukraine. But I am responsible for what is going on with the money that they sent to Israel. Do you compute that, or are you still like you have got to start thinking beyond borders? Because once again, the shit that all of us have to internalize is that in this case, after all of this shit with Epstein is released, after you've been seeing what your governments are doing, right? The people in power, people who are famous or rich, etc., what they're doing, seeing that in the next 10 years, we're in a state of bankruptcy in terms of water right now, and we're going to have wars over water in the next 10 to 15 years. And you want to still focus on nationality. That's your solution here. Not figuring out an international movement, not figuring out how we're going to keep this planet alive for us to actually enjoy at least a bit of our lives. You know what? As Slavs, we should really, really try to get the crumbs of like fucking white supremacy where we can get. We should take the sides of the genocidal maniacs wherever we go, just in case we might get like a piece of the pie, right, Masha? That's what we should be doing. Here's my statement on this shit. A socialist of another country is a fellow patriot. The capitalist of my own country is a natural enemy. That's how it's supposed to be. You're supposed to have an actual framework of what you believe in. Learn what politics are and try to learn from resources that are not trying to frame shit in a way that is disparaging to your class. If you're the 99% of the population, it's going to be in your interest. If you're not sick and tired of the hypocrisy of the West yet, I don't even know anymore what to tell you. If you still look at your billionaires, like for example that Galen guy, or what is his name? Galen Weston Jr. Okay, this fucker. This is, I don't give a fuck that we are technically both supposed to protect the queen or whatever the fuck. Not even the queen, the king now, which is like just disgusting, but whatever. I don't care that technically like we have the same passport and whatnot. This is my enemy. This is a guy I want to see. However, some Irish fella who supports the emancipation of the working class and everything that comes with it, with that ideology, that's a brother to me. Are we clear? No? The idiocy, the sheer idiocy of people continuously, at their big age, you're a grown adult, by the way, Masha, at their big age, not having actual politics except for how can I profit off of my affiliation to Zionism or a war that's going on. It's all gross. It is. And if you're still confused about my fucking politics, I think you genuinely need to sit down and learn a thing or two. Just like get a book of international politics. It's in our collective interest to have a cultural understanding, an international cultural understanding, that we do not have the luxury of this really easy and feel good type of politics of just really loving your nation and singing your fucking anthems and whatnot. Because the things that we do here right now, for example, in Canada, in Vancouver, has impact on what's happening in Gaza, and it has impact on what is happening in Sudan, and it has impact on what happens somewhere else. And it's the same thing for everything else. And it's just so weird to have opinions on who should exist and who shouldn't exist based on like ethnicity, but not having any opinions on how things should operate. In the case of Masha, I'm pretty sure she has ideas of how she wants things to operate. It's just that I disagree with it because I actually, believe in equality, liberty, that kind of shit, protecting the rights of others, stuff like that, which is probably like a fucking foreign concept to this woman. But I know that this is a very political episode, and I know that it's kind of strange, but it is what you're going to be dealing with in the arts. We oftentimes talk about politics, first of all, right? In the arts in general. Second of all, recently, I think that honestly, we should be talking about it. The problem that I'm having is that oftentimes this white supremacy, right-wing bullshit is something that is tolerated and also something that is afforded, especially for people like this woman. They're afforded anonymity, they're afforded some kind of protections all the time when they're the ones walking around poking their heads where they're not supposed to be, or not heads, noses, God, whatever, whichever it is. Really strange that people like me, who already have their politics pretty well known, I'm not like fucking hiding shit or like pretending to be something I'm not. It's just really interesting that people like me are supposed to be dealing with harassment from those weird ass men that she brought along with her, like fucking freaks. Where did she even get them? I don't fucking know. I'm supposed to be public with it. I'm supposed to be constantly scrutinized while not getting any of the, fiscal benefits of having to deal with that type of bullshit. While they get the fiscal support and other things like that from their racist weird ass patrons behind the scenes, somehow also think that they deserve some kind of anonymity and comfort when they keep harassing everybody else. It's fun and fresh, and I absolutely adore it. People are asking questions, and most of the time, whenever it's someone who's like a right-winger, they will hide behind either some kind of identity shit or pretend to be like a victim of some fucking sort. They will try and pretend like they don't have the politics that they do have, I'm pretty open about it. I just told you, I keep telling you in every episode, in every fucking video, what I'm about. That girl who just it was like about like the Vatnik shit, I was like, dude, you literally have to be blindfolded and have your hands clapped over your fucking ears to not understand what my politics are. I don't fuck with bourgeois class. I don't fuck with capitalists. What is not clear? How much clearer can I make it? How much clearer can I make it that I want all billionaires? Like, how many times do I have to say that? I think I might have my assistant come over for the next episode, but hopefully this clears some shit up, and hopefully it's going to encourage those of you who don't have clear political views yet to invest some time into it, because we are at a precipice of being at a point of no return. We are already at a point of no return where you have to forget the easiness and the luxury of ignorance of nationalism. Nationalism is not going to save us. It's not going to do anything for anybody because we're too interconnected and too global in terms of how our impact back home influences things somewhere else. Like, nothing is going to get better if we don't figure out how to actually do something for the people instead of for the capital. That's it. At the very least, whoever you are, you don't have to be fucking worried about me not telling you to your face what politics are, or being just gobsmacked at some point after years of watching me that this is like, oh my god, she's a leftist. Like, yeah, bitch, I told you. You don't have to worry about me being a secret Republican or some other disgusting shit like that. Anyway, hope you're having a great day. I'm still a bit sick, so I'm gonna go try to gather more energy to actually get some work done. And I will see you guys next time.